You're inside the press box. Christian FM Sports presents Inside the Press Box, where we discuss all sports from our favorite high school team to college and pro. Here's your host, Paul Tipton and Gary Paris.
Hey, Vero Nation. Thanks for joining us inside the press box. It's the playoff edition of our podcast as Vero Beach wins round one against Heritage at Apombe, 28-17. Paul Tipton along with Gary Paris. And GP, Friday night, you and I were out there on the west side of Melbourne, out there amongst the bugs. And I'm not talking about Heritage fans. There literally were bugs out there as we were broadcasting.
Bugs. Everybody on the sideline got spray. We're up there. They were everywhere, but it was the atmosphere was great. Everything else, but
it was a fun time.
Bugs weren't as bad as we thought they'd be, though.
No, they weren't as bad. When we first got set up and they started showing themselves, it was kind of like, oh boy, we're in for a long night. And of course, that wasn't even thinking about the football game. We were just thinking about ourselves. But then, you weren't totally sure, Gary, how things were going to play out in a game like this. You know, you kind of felt like, well, you look at some things on paper, you look at some film, and you go, yeah, I think Vero's got a really good shot at this. And as they start to get into the game, Vero Beach comes out and, comes out, they punt the ball. There's a couple of punts. And I started to feel like, okay, maybe this is going to be one of those defensive battle type of games. A little bit later in the game, it kind of changed the story.
Well, you and I both, I asked you and you asked me, I said, what's your thoughts on the game before the game, even before we went on air? And you were like, I think we're going to have a tight game. I think this team's a very good team. It's not the same team we saw in the spring, but even in the spring, when you go back and look at it, they were pretty physical in that game. Mm-hmm. So you and I both had it within the same realm of points, but different scores. And I never thought we wouldn't win. I thought it was going to be a fight and a battle, and it was for a while. It was a good game. I mean, both teams played physically, played hard, tried to outsmart each other at different times and all. And but Vero came away, like you said, with a 28-17 win, and each team only scored a touchdown each in the second half of the ball game. Yeah. So both defenses did pretty good job the second half.
Yeah, they really did. And, what's really interesting about this, if you start looking at a lot of the stats in this game, Heritage didn't turn the ball over at all. We got no takeaways from them.
So I wish we could say that.
I know. And we ended up with 2 turnovers. Yeah. And if you looked at just that line alone, you'd probably go, well, I know which team won the game, but you'd be wrong on that. And I can't say enough about how well our offensive line played. Octavian Osby had another phenomenal night, went over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Again, that's 2 straight ball games that he's done that.
Well, he's so powerful. He's such he's like 6 foot, 185 pounds, but he's 190 pounds. He runs bigger than he really is. Mm-hmm. He's tough. He's got quickness, got great moves and all. But again, going back to what you said about turnovers, we had costly 2 turnovers that hurt us.
Yeah, we did.
We had a fumble on a punt return that bounced around. We had 2 of those. One of them went out of bounds, so we were able to keep the ball. Mm-hmm. Then the next time they punted to us, we fumbled it, and they recovered it, and they had a short field, and they went in and scored.
Yeah.
And so special teams was really sloppy, in my opinion.
Yeah, we even had on one punt, we had a bad snap. Torres was able to somewhat get it away, but it was, or I don't even think, he didn't actually get the punt away. He had to take the sack, more or less.
Yes, lost ground on it. He ran and lost.
Right.
And it was down over on downs, which is like a turnover.
Right, yeah. And so, yeah, you're right, Gary. I mean, the special team play was not what we had come to expect from Vero.
Opening kickoff, the second half, we get the ball. We're up 21-10, I believe, at halftime. Yep. And we're thinking, all right, we got a good return, looking great. And I'm thinking, boy, if we can get a touchdown in this series or this drive, we can really start put the game away and make them one-dimensional.
Right.
Where you have to throw the ball or you have to do what you do best, and we can key up on that.
Yeah.
And so what do? We turn it over and give them field position on our side of the field.
Yeah, what looked to be almost like it could have been a breakaway run on that opening kickoff by Roberts. Ends up, guy makes a phenomenal play from behind.
Yes, he does.
He just got his arm in the right place and popped that ball away, and then it just bounced the right way. And again, when you got an oblong football, ball like that, you just never know how it's going to bounce, and it just bounced their way.
And then it became 21 to 17.
Right, yeah. So you got, their best, one of their best receivers with a 30-yard reception.
Yeah.
And it's 21-17 late into the third quarter, and you're kind of going, okay, not what we were hoping for, but we're still in the lead.
Yes.
And you're kind of going, okay, you still feel a little comfortable, but then Vero Beach comes right back after that score and answers the bell with a 10-play drive from 80 yards out. And another run by Octavian Osby.
That was a great comeback. That was, to me, I said, I looked over at you, we were taking a break, and I said, I think that just iced it.
Yeah.
I think that just iced it right there, and I think it started to make them one-dimensional.
It did, but again, scrappy team.
Yes, they are.
They come back after that drive, and they put together about a 15, 16-play drive that started from their own 27. They start working the ball down. Now, of course, time is not their friend at this point because we're in the middle of the fourth quarter, and they're running they like to run the ball, and they were doing that, and they were getting some yardage. They get down, and then that defense of Vero Beach comes up with an unbelievable fourth down stop on the 1 yard line.
Unbelievable. 3 tackles inside the 10-yard line did not allow the running back to get into the end zone. And they're on their 4th and 1, and all of a sudden the guys bull up. You see him just bull up there, and he lost a yard on that play.
He did.
He lost a yard, and that was exciting. And again, that just shows you the will to win was there on that defensive line, linebackers, the whole team. That was a great stand. And that was it for them. They could not generate anything after that. Yep. And Vero got the ball back out of the play, and they just and again it was we end up winning the game 28-17. So
and again, can't say enough about a lot of aspects to that game. As far as it was a total team effort by Vero Beach to win that game, and definitely want to point out guys like Octavian Osby, Matt Bacon, Chase Stevens, they all had really good games.
As you said, Osby had over 100 yards again.
Yeah.
And 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 123 yards on 17 carries, 3 touchdowns. And what that does, Gary, you know this. I mean, it's like it does so much for not just for your offensive unit, but mainly especially for your quarterback, man. It takes a lot of pressure off of Tyler Aronson.
Yes, and he doesn't have to run the ball, or he doesn't have to throw the ball on those certain plays because he gets himself into allowing he takes pressure off of him. And also it gives the opportunity for a coach to call certain plays. Yep. When he gets 6 yards on first down and you've got a 2nd and 4, now you can be very conservative play call. Yep. All you need is 5 yards or 4 yards for the first down, 5 yards for sure. Yeah. So there's different calls that you can make, and it's better to have that. Always you hear me say the positive yards, 3, 4 yards, 5 yards on that first down is positive. The second down, if you get 3 or 4 yards, now it gives you a third down and you have several options. And coaches love those options because they can run. They don't have to throw the deep ball. They don't have to throw a middle ball. They can just find an open receiver short.
Certainly. And definitely want to tip my cap to Tyler too, because there were some key moments in that ball game where he used his feet to keep drives alive, especially in that first half. He had a nice 22-yard run that definitely helped keep that drive alive and ended up getting us a touchdown.
And in the next play, I think there was another play by, trying to think of was it the running back? Osby
or Lancefort.
Got 20 some odd yards on the play. Was it a pass or was it a?
Well, Lansford had a 29-yard reception. There was a little short pass. That
Okay, and then we got 22 yards. 22 yards and a big play. We have back-to-back plays.
Yes.
That really put us down the field right there.
Yeah.
I tell you the thing that I was impressed with. Came out the first series, and Tyler missed on 2 quick outs.
Mm-hmm.
They were there. I mean, those guys were giving you the 2 quick outs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's 2 incompletes. He only had 4 incompletes. He only had 2 more the rest of the game.
Right.
And one of them was dropped for a touchdown.
That's true.
One of them was dropped by a player for a touchdown, wide open in his hands. And we love this kid because he gives it everything he's got.
He sure does. He sure does.
It's Tutu. He knows that he went to the sideline, and Matt even told us, he said, man, you almost, he says, should have had that. I should have had him so mad at myself. Yeah. He said, that was a well-thrown ball. It was right in my hands, and I let it get through. So there's 3 incompletes right there. He only had 4.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game, he controlled the passing game, Paul, and his stats were 11 out of 15 or 12
He was 12 of 16 for 204 and a touchdown, and did not throw an interception, which – That's been happening the last few ball games.
Sure.
He's had at least 1 interception. So, you feel like, okay, things are starting to click a little bit, Gary.
I loved it.
We've been talking about this. We just been missing it by just a little smidge.
Yeah.
And now you start to see, all right, now they're starting to click a little bit. So you like that. Obviously, you had to win in order to advance, but you like the momentum that it brings also going into a game that we're about to talk about.
Absolutely. And again, he threw the most beautiful pass to Tutu down the field. And when he missed it, he would be the first one when he got a chance. He went over and said, don't worry about it. We'll get it. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, but for him to see that route, for him to throw that ball, that was what excited me about Tyler on that game last week. Because some of those games in the last few games before, I think he has been reading or, not going through his progression the right way.
Yeah.
And missed, tried to force some long throws and missed the obvious open ones that would have been bigger plays. So it was good to see him, I think, really have a complete game.
Yeah, no, agree. And like I said, there were times where, we could use the ground game to get what we needed. There were times where we needed to throw some passes, and Tyler was able to connect. He hit Roberts 4 times for 97 yards. He hit E.J. White 4 times for 38 yards. Josh Lansford, that one for a 30-yard run or a reception for a touchdown. Griffin had a catch. Also, Simmons had a couple of catches as well. So, guys were getting involved. So you like the balance there that then makes it challenging for a defense because they can't just tee up on one particular thing.
You take away the turnovers, and that game's totally different game.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different ball game.
Yep.
We lost 2 possessions.
Yep.
And they scored on both those, both those possessions, yes, and turnovers, and so, but that's football. That's part of the game.
Yep, totally.
And you've got to be able to overcome that. And I'll tell you what I like about this game, Paul. Yes, we're going in to play Treasure Coast again. This was a physical game itself.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't a cupcake game.
No.
It was a game where you got physical. They got in there. They battled each other. Because right now they're getting ready to play a team that just beat Seminole.
Boy,
And they played them for the second time.
Yes.
And beat them twice.
Yes.
They beat them 28-0 this time in this game. And so you think a team is peaking and coming hot at the right time. Treasure Coast may be that team. And it's going to take everything we got to beat them. There were opportunities that were missed in that first game we played them.
Yep.
That Lenny says that we had opportunities.
Yep.
We had them. Even though the score was 22-10, one was a bad snap that gave them a safety in the ball. They were going to get the ball back anyway, but added 2 points to that.
Yeah.
And that makes it believe it or not, when you have 2 touchdowns to win a ball game then, and it was a field goal and a touchdown, and you had to. It's just put you behind you just get behind. When you get behind, it's like getting behind the chain. When you get penalties instead of when you get a 6-7 yard run, then all of a sudden you get a holding call, and it takes you back. Now you're instead of 2nd and 4. You're looking at 1st and 20, and so I thought Viral will really got prepared for this coming game with last week's play. Now, not that they run the same. We'll see, exactly right. But I think the physical, I think the mental attitude. I just think that the coaches are taking it serious. The coaches are going to have. They're going to. It's no nonsense. Hey, it's like
it's got to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's win or go home.
Yes, and for them to win this game this week on the road again would be one of the biggest challenges they have faced in a long time.
Agreed, Gary. I mean, and look, you talked about the missed opportunities in the previous matchup with Treasure Coast. I mean, look, Coach Irv Jones and that Titan staff, they're going to be looking at the same thing and going, hey, you know what? We avoided some mistakes on our part, and we got to fix those. We got to get those cleaned up. So they're going to be prepared as well.
The thing that you're going to miss Hillsman. His ability to run and catch the ball. Osby's having a great. He's filling in great, but he doesn't have those hands or the receiving ability that Hillsman has.
Yes.
So you lose that extra wide receiver, and when they run some of these plays. But trust me, Coach Jay will come up with the scheme. We saw E.J. White get back into receiving a little bit more last game. He's been playing
4 catches.
He's been playing defense, and he's been playing an outstanding job on defense. And so he's been playing both ways. You saw Tutu come in and got some plays, and you see some of their dual athletes. Reynolds,
RJ.
Yeah.
Amar Reynolds, these guys that are playing on both sides of the ball and getting opportunities. I agree, Gary. I mean, look, when you get to this stage, it's you hate to say it this way, but this is probably about the only way to say it. You want to make sure your best athletes are on the field, gives you the best chance to win.
Yeah, because you're done. You're one and done.
Right.
It's either you go on or you're done.
Right.
And so that's why they got to use the mentality is forget about last game now. Let's get focused. And I guarantee you today the focus will be on Treasure Coast. They enjoyed that win, as most coaches will tell you. Hey, enjoy it over the weekend. Come Monday, let's bring our lunchbox and let's go to work.
Well, yeah, you go from 8 teams on Friday night that were in your region down to 4 teams now. And, it's right there in front of you right now. I mean, and Treasure Coast obviously last week proved why they are the number 1 team in our region. That was a decisive win against a good Osceola team. Their record doesn't necessarily reflect it, but they got pretty much all their weapons back. They were a healthy team. That Treasure Coast played them at the start of the season. That was not their full complement of weapons.
I apologize. I called them Seminole, but it was Osceola.
Yeah. It's
Osceola.
Osceola.
It was Osceola.
Yeah,
and I apologize for that because I'm thinking the Seminole team out of Sanford, but it's actually Osceola that they played and blew them out.
Yeah, correct. And so, look, Treasure Coast is a good team. And you're right, Gary. This is going to be a big challenge for Vero Beach. But are they capable? Yeah, I think they are. I think Vero Beach is totally capable of getting a win here on Friday night.
Well, they're going to have to eliminate some of the turnovers. And they're going to have to do better on special teams. And they're going to have to execute their offense. And again, it's not something they can't do. They've done it all year. They just need to do it now with this team, because this is a team that is very physical. They're very talented. They run you know what they're going to run. You know they're going to stretch you out and cut back, so you can't over pursue.
Yep.
You've got to be in your assigned areas. You've got to be there. You got to win the battle up front, and so that means you got your 3 guys and your 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers have got to win that battle right there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And for anything to happen there. And it would be fun to force them into passing the ball, but they do throw a ball every now and then.
They do.
And
they've been effective with it.
Yes, and they live by the run.
They certainly do. They absolutely do. You know what they're going to bring to the table, and it's a matter of you trying to figure out how to stop it. And look, Vero Beach's defense, in the last time we played them, played a very good ball game. Look, they 3 takeaways. That's unheard of with Treasure Coast.
Sure.
They don't turn the ball over that often. And so, really the story in that game was, like we talked about, the missed opportunities by the Vero Beach offense. The defense, I felt like, played a pretty good ball game.
Gave us the ball in the open possession.
Yeah.
They fumbled the ball. We had it
we had it at the 11. Got it down to the 1.
And didn't score.
And then
you got to kick a field goal.
Well, bad snap.
Yeah.
Put us all the way back to the 19.
Yes.
And then a missed opportunity on the next play. Might have possibly could have had a touchdown in that, but did not get the opportunity. So we end up trying for a field goal. We got it.
Yeah.
So instead of getting 7, we got 3.
And those are the times you got to capitalize. You got to come away with the big one, the big 7.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're on the 11-yard line going in. That's a gift.
Yeah.
That we didn't. We did score 3, but it was a gift given to us.
All right. Well, unfortunately, you won't be able to be at this game again.
I know. I'm going to Lubbock, Texas this time to see us play Texas Tech after coming off a big win.
Ooh, did you ever?
Over 15th ranked Oklahoma State.
What in the world got into those Knights? I'm
going to tell you, they were inspired from the beginning. And it was fun. It was the Knot Night, the astronauts we honor with Cape Canaveral over there. We wore our Canaveral blue uniforms, and when you beat a team 48-3, you're thinking, "Wow,
we'll keep wearing those uniforms." That's what you keep thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to wear what I wore in Texas. So,
yeah.
But that was a great game. The state of Florida. Florida State, who was ranked number 4th, they were able to keep that win over your Miami in a good game.
Well, you had to bring that up.
Well, I had to because Miami played a great game. Miami actually played with a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, poor kid got his arm broke.
Yeah. And so they say he'll be back by spring. And and then the Gators are struggling right now. They lost to a very good LSU team.
Yeah.
And so it's rebound time. Everybody is. You got to bounce back, and you're bowl eligible. Miami, Florida's trying to get bowl eligible, and they got to play. I'm thinking they play Ole Miss this week, and then Florida State. And
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. and again,
Ole Miss is going to be having a bad attitude coming into this week.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. But Florida football is great.
Yeah.
High school, college, pros. That's great. There's a lot of fun. A lot enjoyed in football. I root for all the teams in Florida. Nah, I don't.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. I can't lie to our audience. When you go to Florida State, you just no way you could.
Yeah.
I don't. I like.
Well, if you could actually see him right now, he's wearing a Florida State shirt. And he's got a UCF hat on. So, it's just, he's a funny dude, man.
That's my love.
Yeah, totally. It's right there. We'll have to get a snapshot and post it. All right. Well, GP, we'll miss you on Friday night, but I know you'll be watching and listening.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. And hopefully you will be as well. If you want to get tickets for this game, the best way to do it is to go online. It's gofan.co. is where you can find the website to buy tickets for this game. I'm told that if you do want to show up at the gate, they have tickets available there. But if you want to get it done online and using your credit card or whatever, you can do it that way as well. Of Of course, we will have the game, or at least we're hoping. We haven't actually got the official approval yet from the FHSAA with the media rights, but our plan is to be there. And so if we are there, obviously you can catch it either online, on the radio, or through our YouTube channel. And as always, have a great week. We'll see you there at the game, and go Indians.
Thanks for joining us inside the press box. For more, go to ChristianFM.com.